Hello, TY. And Jerry. Are you with me? Hi, Charles. It's nice to have you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Hi, Abdurrahman. Oh, when is 9:15? We'll start. Um, TY, Jerry, and Abdurrahman. If you're not in a noisy place, you can unmute your mic now.
Good morning.
Okay, sir.
You can unmute your mic if you're not in a noisy place. Oh.
Alright.
Okay, we are starting right away. One second, please.
Hello, can you
I can hear you.
hear me?
Hmm. Okay, let's start. So, okay. So today we are going to be talking about strings, integers and floats, booleans, operators and conditionals. So last week we spoke about comments, we spoke about operators and some other stuff. So this week we have another set of topics to go into. So we are going to be starting with strings. Now, like I explained in the document, I said strings is a collection of characters. It can also be a single character, but baseline is just when you want to represent non-integers and you're not talking in terms of true or false, you bring in your strings. String is um, a collection of characters, and it can also be a single character, by the way. So there is this item I have over here I would like to use as a guide. Okay, so a string, when you want to create a string, you create a string by doing this. You say, let's say name equal to allogenius. So this is anything you enclose within the when you start it with a double quote, you close with a double quote. You start with a single quote, you close with a single quote. It's a string essentially. Essentially, when you start with a double quote and you close with a double quote, it is a string. No two ways about it. You understand? This is also the same as, let me say, name underscore equal to single quote halogenius. Both of them mean the same thing, essentially. This is a string and this is another string. If you want to see the output of the string, a string is just like any other regular value that you have. Just print um, name, run it. You can see I have halogenius. Understand? If I also print name underscore and I run it, I also have halogenius. You understand? And come to think of it, if I want to run the equality operator on the two of them, print name equal to name. Can someone tell me what I should expect as my response here?
Hello, Junior.
I'm supposed
True.
to be expecting halogenius. Yeah?
True. True.
Yes, what I should be expecting is true because halogenius and both of them are basically referring to the same thing. You understand? Both of them essentially are referring to the same thing. Halogenius with the single quote, halogenius with the double quote. Both of them are referring to the same thing. So that is the reason why I'm going to be having true. So I'm trying to test for equality. The equality operator over here is testing to know if the two values are the same thing. And as you can see, this is halogenius here, this is halogenius here. So I'm going to be getting true. So that is it basically. And this is a single line string. What if I want to create a multi-line string? A multi-line string. How do I do that? Very simple. What I have to do to create a multi-line string is to do something like, let me say, paragraph, then equal to, my paragraph has to begin with three double quotes and it will close with three double quotes. So this is a multi-line string. I can come here and say, my name is Halogenius. I am a boy. This one no get full stop. I love to write Python. I am a fan of Man United, best team in the world.
Kaya.
If you want to, if you don't feel like it, don't feel like it. But we know. So I also love to work with WordPress. Then some minions are laughing at me right now. Okay. So you can see the multi-line string I just created. What I have over here is a single line string, but this is a multi-line string I have over here. So basically, I can just print paragraph and boom, you can see what I have over here now. My name is Halogenius. I am a boy. I love to write Python. What I have here is just a single line string, while this is a multi-line string. I start it with three double quotes. I close it with three double quotes. I might decide to start with three single quotes. I close with three single quotes. All of them will work just fine. All of them will work just fine. So that is all about single line strings and multi line strings. So another thing you should know is that in Python strings there is this thing we refer to as indexing. In programming generally, there's this concept of indexing where you have a list of items and you want to refer to one particular item at a particular index. Normally when you want to start counting integers, you start counting integers from say from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. But in programming, when you want to start indexing, in most programming languages I've worked with, you start from zero. So if you have 9 items in a particular collection, the first item, the index will be zero, the second one will be one, the third one will be two, down to the last one, which will be basically the length of the item minus one, since the indexing is starting from zero. Let me give you an example. So let me say, don't forget what name is. Name is Allogenius. If I want to print name indexing zero, what is it going to be giving me? It will be giving me H. If I want to index, because obviously, don't forget, name is Halogeneous. Let me print the two of them to make it okay. So you can see name is Halogeneous. If I want to index H, for example, I'm going to be indexing zero. You understand? So now, if I want to index G, what will be the index?
5,
Huh?
5.
4,
5. 0,
4,
0, 1, 2, 3. It should be 4 now because you know 0,
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Do you understand how it becomes 4?
Yeah.
Indexing is starting from 0 exactly. So come to 4. You can see G. 4 is indexing G. What if I want to index S?
-1.
Exactly. That is negative indexing. But if I want to do positive indexing, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is it 10? No, it should be 9. It should be 9. Okay. So if I want to do positive indexing, I can just index using 9, counting from H to S. But if I want to do negative indexing, I'm counting backwards from S to H. So the first item over here is going to be -1. That is how you do negative indexing, basically. So if I want to index O negatively, what will be the index?
If you want to
-7.
index
O, this O over here negatively.
-7.
Using my -7.
-7. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, -7. -7. So basically, that is how you do positive and negative indexing. That's how you do positive and
Okay,
negative indexing.
I have a question.
So please ask. Please ask.
What if you have more than 9 characters?
Let us add 9 more characters. Let us add another set of characters. Um, can you give me a word that is very long?
Okay, accommodate.
Accommodation. Something very long. So if I want to index this I over here positively, that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I should say 9, shift enter, you can see I have S. If I want to index N positively, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that should be 11. I made a mistake here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or
Okay.
should this be 10? Oh, sorry, I'm indexing the wrong variable. This should be word. Then this should be 11.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
indexing name. I was indexing name instead of word. So you can see 11 over here.
Word.
That is the last item. I'm trying to index this n over here. That's what I'm trying to get. This n over here is what I'm trying to get. So this indexing too, In our stream for next week, we are going to be talking about Python collections, lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. In list and tuples, this indexing too, you are still going to need it. So basically, you have a collection of items and you want to pick a particular item in a particular index. You can identify it using that particular index. So you will understand it better when we get there. But basically, positive indexing is counting from the beginning to the point where the index is you should count to. Negative indexing is counting from the last item backwards. Do you understand now?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So moving on. Okay. The next thing we are going to be doing is I want to show you how to loop through a string. You can loop through a string using a for loop. So I believe that you guys have you understand what a for loop is now. It's part of your task for this week. So basically, a for loop a for loop is a tool in programming, in Python programming, that you can use to traverse a collection. Traversing means going through all the items, like visiting all the items in a collection. So if you want to loop through a word, you can say, don't forget, our word is what? Accommodation. If I want to print out all the
Accommodation.
characters, if I want to print out all the characters in accommodation, I can just say for character in word. Just print that character. This is how a for loop works. For each character in word, print that particular character. Another thing you can do is, well, you did strings this week, so I should start introducing you to it now. It's not a bad idea. So this is formatted string. You can do something like this is character. So when you enclose this one in curly brackets, you run it. This is me traversing the string. Then I'm now saying for every character, this is character A, this is character C, this is character C, this is character O, like that, like that. Any questions?
Okay, what's the f function there?
Eh?
You added f, then what's the f function there? You added f, the colon.
So in Python, there's this thing called formatted string. Formatted string is
Okay.
you might want to inject data into a string. Inject is let me give you an example. So I might have something like age equal to 15. Understand? Then I want to tell the user, maybe let me say input. I just want to write how old are you? Okay. So let me just put this. So age is int input. Now you can say print, or let me say output equal to you are str age years old. So there should be a plus here. Then print. I'm trying to answer your question, but I want to make it as simple as I can.
Okay.
So let me say 15. Now, if you see what is happening here, if you see what is happening here, I'm asking the user to give me a value for how old they are. So basically, how old are you? You give me the value of your age. Say I'm 15 years old, I'm 23 years old. Anything you give me here, I want to be able to show you back that, okay, oh, you told me you are 12 years old. How old are you? You gave me 12. Okay, then you are 12 years old. You understand? How old are you? 23. Okay, you are 23 years old. So you see that you are and years old are static data. You understand? You are and years old. It's kind of static. If you give me 100, you are 100 years old. If you give me 99, you are 99 years old. This is the dynamic part of the string. You understand? Anything the user gives me on this line over here now is what I want to inject to this particular point
inside.
to form the output. Do you understand what I'm saying? To form the output. So
Yes,
I will now print it as the output string. So this is static. This is static. This is the only point that is dynamic. You understand? So I'm using concatenation over here to merge the data together. Now, formatted string is achieving almost the same thing. This is the whole string over here. You understand? But this is the dynamic part.
yes,
So formatted string gives me the ability to inject dynamic data into a string. So if I should remove this F, for example, and I run everything, you can see this is character equal to character. No, it will not recognize this syntax over here. But if I add the F to the back of the string, it will alert the interpreter that there is a particular dynamic data that we want to inject to this point. And what is that dynamic data? For every character in Word, this character will be injected to this point. That is what is happening.
yes.
You understand
Okay,
now?
yes. I,
It's something you
yeah,
can
I get.
always go. Hmm?
Yes, I understand. Yes.
Okay, okay. So let's
Thank,
continue.
thank
You're welcome. You're welcome. So if you want to get the length of a string, you understand the length of a string. What does it mean for the length of a string? What does it mean? What does the
Random
length of a
answer.
I
string mean?
think
It's an random answer.
No, I'm asking.
I think maybe
Anybody can answer.
Anybody can respond.
maybe
Okay,
the
the,
number of
the length of a
zeros.
I said length of a string can be the total character in a string.
Basically, that is it. Anywhere you see length in programming generally, you're talking about we have a collection, the number of elements in the collection, that is what length is. And Python have made our work way easier because there is this len function. Anything you throw inside, it will give you the number of elements in it. It is useful for strings, it is useful for tuples. So if you want to find the number of characters in a string, for example, let's say I have accommodation. Don't forget, my word is what? Accommodation. For me to find the number of characters in word, just print the length of word. And see, I have 12. Let me print word itself. I have accommodation, and the length of accommodation, basically, which is the word, is 12. So if this were halogenius, which is name, you can see halogenius 10. So that is that about that directly. So I'm trying to. I know that we have covered a lot in the course, so I'm just trying to pick up one or two things that I feel like are important. So let's move on to string slicing. So slicing, basically, one way for you to understand what slicing is, if you have a cake, for example, you know that if they tell you to take a slice of the cake, you are not taking the whole cake, you are just taking a portion of the cake. You understand? That is one good way for you to understand string slicing. You're not taking the whole cake, just a portion of the cake is what you're taking. Okay. So
Listen,
in string slicing, what you're doing basically is that you are taking a portion of the string. You're not taking the whole string. You're only taking a portion of the string. So moving on, um, for you to do string slicing, let me bring back the word. You can see I have accommodation now. I might want to slice get out. I might want to slice, say, between C and D. Now I'm going to start counting the index 0, 1, 2. So my starting point is going to be 2. I want to stop at D. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You understand? So naturally, I'm slicing between 2 and 6. But you need to take note of something. What you have to take note of is that the slicing, the starting point is inclusive, the ending point is exclusive. So what that means is that the point where you're going to be starting from is included in the slice, but the point where you're going to be stopping is not included. So you have to add one. Let me show you what I mean. So no, normally, if I want to slice, I can print word. You bring in square bracket, then you say two slicing up to six. If I should run this, I said I want to slice from C to D, and the index of C is what? 2. The index of D is 6. But if you see the result I'm having over here, it is including C, but it is not including D. You understand? That is to tell you that this ending point over here is not inclusive, it is exclusive. So you have to add 1 to this particular ending point for you to accommodate the D. So what would I do? I just come here and put 7, run it, and I have my right solution. Let me take another example. If I have name, don't forget, name is what? Halogenius. If I want to index from A to G, or let me say to I, so the index of A is 1, the index of I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will be 1 comma 8. If I want to slice to name, run this, you see. So you can see slicing from A to I works just fine. So that is how you do string slicing basically. The point where you're going to be starting from is included in the slice, but the point where you are ending, you have to add one to it for it to accommodate your desired slice. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be a long stream because I'm just trying to. Okay, so another thing that I want to bring to your notice, you can see all these slices that we have over here now. We are slicing in the middle from A to I, from C to D. What if I want to slice from the beginning to a particular point? If I want to slice from the beginning to a particular point, all I have to do, for example, if I want to slice from the beginning, which is H, to G, for example, I can do something like name indexing. I will not put anything at the beginning here. I will just put the index of E. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. 5. Understand? I want to slice from the beginning up to G. So I might just leave the beginning empty. Then I'll just put my ending point. Don't forget I have to add one to it. So if I want to slice from a particular point to the end, for example, from I to the end, the index of I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can just say name 7 to the end. You can see IUS 7 to the end. So that is how you can slice to the end. So moving on, and this works also for negative indexing. So this thing we did for positive indexing, it works for negative indexing as well. So let's just move on. Um, so modifying strings. Modifying strings. There are some string functions you can use to modify strings. Don't forget, our name is what? Halogeneous. If I want to convert the whole of name to uppercase, I can just call the upper function on the string object. For example, name.upper. Run it. You can see everything is in uppercase. I want to print it in lowercase. Name.lower. And see everything is in lowercase now. If I want to capitalize it, well, it is already capitalized now because the first character is a capital letter, then the remaining ones a small letter. So now, if you want to remove white spaces at the beginning and at the end of a word, let me give you an example. Let me say word um, double RD equal to some white spaces, then another set of white spaces. Okay, so you can do something like word dot strip. No, that should be double R. You can see it is removing all these white spaces at the beginning and white spaces at the end. So that is how you can basic ways to modify a string. So for you to concatenate a string, when we did operators last week, I explained to you that this plus operator over here can be used for two things. It can be used for addition and it can be used for concatenation. So addition is when your operands are numbers. For example, 2 plus 3 is going to be giving you 5. Concatenation is when your operands are words. For example, Chris plus a spacebar plus halogen. I should run this. You can see I'm having Chris halogen. All my operands are strings, but it is impossible. It is impossible for you to have something like let me say Chris plus 2. This is going to give you a type error because you cannot perform that operation. You cannot add a word together with a number. It's not possible, even mathematically. So you are going to be getting a type error here. The only thing that can possibly happen is if you convert this one to a string. So you say str2. So it will convert 2 to a string, then it will return, it will do concatenation instead. So so basically, when you have two strings together, you can merge the two strings together. For example, I can say school equal to university plus a space bar plus of plus another space bar Lagos. So if I should run the whole of this, I didn't print my school. You can see for this one, I'm having University of Lagos. So school equals to, I have university over here. This first string over here is this university. This space bar that I have here is this space bar over here. Off is this one. The space bar over here is this space bar. Then Lagos is this one. Let me remove all the space bars. Let me remove all the space bars. So remove this one, then also remove this one. So don't forget, school is initially University of Lagos with the space bar, but you can see I've assigned another string to school. So if I should print school, for example, it is this most recent value that is going to be giving me. So if I should run this, you can see University of Lagos, no space bar. So take this one out, run it again. So that is how you do concatenation, basically. That is how you do concatenation. So if you want to format your string, formatting your string is what we did here using this for loop. You can see this for loop over here, formatting your string over here. So Let's show another example of how you can format your string. I wanted to ask Seth, do you have any questions regarding what's in the column? Regarding the concatenation?
At,
Huh?
No
at
from my
all.
end, sir.
No question.
Okay, no problem. Let's move on. Let's move on. So I want us to cover a lot, even though we have short time. So University of Lagos. What was I going to explain? Okay, formatting strings. So I was going to. Okay, I said this. This is an example of formatted string over here. So let's come here and um. I want to give you another example. Let's say I can say full name equal to input. I will ask the user to give me your first name. Some space there. Let this one be first name. So this one will be last. So I can now come and say output equal to your full name is first name last name. But don't forget I have a formatted string here. So basically this is how you format your there is another way to do this, but I feel like this one is simpler and more user friendly. So print output. So give me your first name. Let me say Chris. Last name. And boom. You can see an example of string formatting here. So your full name is anything the user gives me as this first name over here. Don't forget the input function by default is going to return a string. You understand? The input function by default will return a string, and you know one advantage of using this string formatting over here. If you look at what we did here, this age, I gave an example. Okay, if you see what I did here, for me to generate this output now, I had to first of all typecast this age to a string before I could concatenate directly. But if you are using this particular format over here, you don't have to typecast. Let me give you an example. Age equal to int input. How old are you? Put in some space. So your full name is this, and you are say age, yes, it should be age, yes, old. So what's your first name? Let me say Cristiano. Oh, the best player in the world, Ronaldo. How old are you? I think he's 38 or 39 now. You can see your full name is Cristiano Ronaldo and you are 39 years old. Normally, at this point, I will have to typecast. You understand? I will have to typecast this age into a string. But this age over here, don't forget from this point, it is an integer. So since I'm using this formatted string, I don't have to convert it to a string to inject it into this point. It will automatically convert it to a string itself. Then it will just show the output like that. So basically, that is how you format your string. That's how you format your string. Any question?
No, sir.
No, at all.
Okay. So um so before we leave strings, I want to introduce you guys to escape characters. Escape characters. So an escape character is um an escape character is a special character that you cannot find on your keyboard. Some of them you can find them on your keyboard, but okay, you can actually find them on your keyboard, but it's a special way for you to represent them. For example, let me say, um, word equal to input enter a word. If you look at everything I've been doing since, I will put a space here. You understand? So that when it displays in the front of the user, maybe you might not appreciate it here because I'm zoomed in. Let me zoom out a bit. I'll still zoom in back. Let me zoom out a bit. So enter a word. If I did not put this space over here now, what's wrong with this thing? And two. Um, 1 second, please. Okay, enter a word. So you can see now that I said enter a word, it is not giving me that spacing over here. You understand? Let me say it. But I can take this one out. But if I want to give some sort of spacing between the word and the input field, I can just put this. This is a tab spacing. In Python, any character you put after a backslash is basically an escape character. So to insert characters that are basically illegal, I won't say illegal, in a string, you use an escape character. So the backslash followed by any character that you want. So come back and if I should run this, you can see that spacing, that tab spacing is giving me that tab spacing. If I want it to say enter a word in a new line, I can use backslash n. I have to interrupt this kernel. So you can see it is taking the control to a new line. So now because this backslash has a special use case in Python, for you to print a backslash to a particular string, you have to use a backslash and another backslash. You might not be using this that often, but at least I've introduced you to it. You can see I put two backslash here now, but it is only one you are seeing because it's an escape character according to Python. So you might not be using much of this, but I'm very sure that the tab spacing and the new line spacing, you're going to be using it a lot. You're going to be using it a lot. So that will be all for string for now. So any
I,
questions?
I have a question, sir.
Okay, please ask. Please ask.
Uh, that one of the exercises that I sent on the support group, I've not really understood the solution you
Can
said.
you send it? Can you copy the question, then you paste it on the YouTube chat where everybody can see it?
All right, sir.
Like, can you do that now? So we can just treat it. Just do that now.
Okay. Or can I type it on the chat like here?
You should be able
Can
to
I type
type
here?
it on the first. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can type it. You can type it. So commands.
Okay. Anyone who has question can ask as I type.
Please, if you have any questions, bring it on. If you have any questions. For while we're waiting for him to type, let us move on to integers. So we won't waste time. Let me take this off my screen. So integers, these are strings. Okay. So actually, I should say numbers. I should say numbers because everything is still under numbers. So, like I said in the course, I said we have to. Okay, I think you are sent. So this is the question he asked. Mm, So, so I believe we cannot see the question he asked. So write a Python program to get a string from a given string where all the occurrence of the first character have been changed to the dollar sign except the first character. Okay. So this is a fairly simple question. Fairly simple. Let me add. So let me say word equals to Alcantara. Okay. Let me make this smaller a. So you can see that we have how many a's here? One, two, three, four. Let me zoom in. We have four a's here. You understand? We have four a's. I'm trying to solve this particular problem here now. We have four a's here. One, two, three, and four. So basically, the goal is to generate a string like this. To generate a string where the first character A, every other character. So this is the goal over here. Charles, are you seeing my screen? This is the goal.
Yes, sir.
Like the question says, get another string from a string that we have already. Every occurrence of its first
Yes, sir.
character, which is A in this case now, have been changed to dollar sign. You understand? Apart
Except the
from
first one.
the first one. So you can use a loop for this, and you can decide to use a replace. But I don't expect that by the time that you'll be learning strings, you will have any knowledge of loops. So that is the reason why I just used replace. Now, let me let me introduce you to replace itself, the function. So if I have say um sentence equal to I am a boy, okay, you can do something like sentence dot replace boy with girl. If I should run this, what am I getting? I'm getting I am a girl. Let me use this. I'm getting I am a girl. Do you understand? The initial sentence is I am a boy. Sentence dot replace boy, comma girl. Now, boy is the original string that I'm looking for to replace. Girl is what I want to replace it with. You understand what I'm saying? Boy is the key that I'm looking for. Girl is what I want to replace it with. So that is how the replace works, basically. Now, the number that you are talking about, um, say if I say boy, 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 boy. If I should run this, you can see all the occurrences of boy is changing it to girl. Express boy, 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 boy. Everything is girl, 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 girl. But I can optionally add a number here, say two. Now, if I should run this, you can see it is changing the first two occurrences of boy to girl. Then it will leave the remaining ones. If I put three here,
Oh,
you understand? And I run it. It is changing the first three occurrences of boy to girl. Then it will leave the last one. If I should put only one here, it is changing only the first occurrence of boy to girl. It will leave the other ones. You get the logic now.
yes.
Uh-huh. You get the logic now. So let's
Yes.
with what we have now, you should be able to solve it. Now, what equals to Alcantara? What is the first thing I want to do? I want to first of all filter out. That's my first kini. I can say first character equal to what? My first character equal to word. Indexing what? I want to get my first character. It will be word indexing what?
Zero.
Zero.
It will be word indexing zero. Okay? So zero. So let me print my first character.
Okay.
You see, I have A. That is my first character. I'm saving it somewhere because I'm going to be needing it. You understand? Now I can move on. I can do something like word dot replace all the occurrences of A with what? Dollar sign. Understand? I can do something like new word equal to. So I can now come and print new word. Save it. You can see that all the occurrences of A there, it is gone. So how do I bring back my A to this starting point now? Very simple. I can just say new word again equal to new word dot replace. Replace all the occurrences of dollar sign with what? A, but only the first occurrence. Now print new word. So that is it basically. One thing is that in this life,
Thank,
everything is hard till the day you learn it. So it's not rocket science. So
thank you,
we can
sir.
move on. We can move on, right? You're welcome.
I have a question, sir.
Okay, please ask. Please ask.
Please, can this replace? Can we use it with opposite integers?
The negative indexing. Let us try. I've never tried it before. I've never tried it before. So in this case now, if I want to replace like this last one over here, so if I put negative one, I've never tried it before. It's not working. So I don't think the negative integers will work. Two. If I say negative two, it's not working. So I don't think you can use it with negative integers.
All
But
right, sir.
I'm very sure positive integers. I'm sure of that one. Wait, negative integers basically replaced everything now. Nine be this. I say two. Still the same thing. Negative integers won't work well with it. Negative integers won't work well. So we can move on, right? Hello, we can move on, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So going to numbers now. Numbers. You use numbers to represent numeric data, basically. Numeric data in the sense that you have the like your account balance, the number of people in the class, anything you can count or measure. Then I explained at some point that you have two type of numeric data. We have the whole numbers and the floating point numbers. Anything you can count, you can represent as a whole number. Anything that you can only measure, you cannot count them, but you can measure them. You represent them as floating point numbers. So, example of what you can count: the number of cars on the road, the number of people in a class, the number of graduates in a university, the number of ministers in a government, something like that. The number of something that you can count. You understand? Something that you can count is what you refer to. Is what you represent as numbers. You get. So, but if you cannot count it, but you can measure it, that is what you represent as a float. You cannot count it, but you can measure it. A good example of what you can measure: your body mass index, your weight, your height, like that. Those are the kind of data that you can measure. You cannot count them, but you can measure them. You get. So moving forward, the two types of we have three type of whole numbers in Python. Like we have three type of number data types in Python. We have the integers, we have the float, then we have the complex. Now that complex data type, like it sounds, it is complex. I don't use it because I like my life simple. so so the complex data type, I will leave it to you to go and sort out. I've not seen any tutorial on YouTube where someone taught how to use the complex data type. So I'll just stick to integers and floats, but I want to let you know that the complex data type exists in case you're interested in it. I'm not. So um a good example of an integer might be some so for a float pi equal to 3.142. Okay. So x equals to three
Yes, sir.
six, pi equals to 3.142. These are examples. This is an integer and this is a float. So if you want to find the type of data that x is, you can just say type of x. If you run this, you can see I'm getting int. You say type of pi, run it, I'm getting float. Now you can see this sentence I have over here. If you want to look for the type of sentence, you have what? str. You get. So basically in Python, if you want to find the type of any data that you have, you can just pass the data into the type function, and it will return the type of the data for you. So we're not going to be doing much about integers and floats because I believe it's straightforward. But one thing I want to show us is that you can typecast from one to another. For example, if you want to typecast from this x, which is 6 now, to a float, what do you think the value is going to be?
If you want to typecast,
From
mm,
6, from this is an integer now. If you want to
yes, sir.
typecast it to a float, what are you going to be getting?
6.0.
It will be 6.0. You get.
Yes,
But for this pi over here, if you want to typecast to an integer, what will you get?
3.
It will be 3. It will truncate this other part and it will remain only 3. So you have something like float x. This is going to return 6.0, and int pi is going to return 3. So that is how you can typecast from one to the other. So there is something that I didn't teach you in the course at this particular point, but we can just introduce it to I can just introduce it to you now. So there is this function called the random function. The random function can be used to generate random numbers. I'll just give you how you can generate a number between a particular range. All you have to do is to import random, then you print random dot rand range. Just put your starting point, for example, 10, your ending point maybe 2000. You run it, and it will generate a random number between 10 and 2000 for you. If you should run it again, it generates another random number. You run it again, it generates another random number. Run it again, you can run it for as much many times as possible. You will keep getting the random number. But I think I introduced this later in the course. So you'll be seeing it later, don't worry. You'll be seeing it. So I just want to show you here. So that will be all for integers. That'll be all for integers and floats. So I think the next thing we want to talk about is strings, integers. I think I misspelled something here. The title of the What other data types did we work on this week?
Booleans.
Booleans and wait, okay, yeah, operators and conditionals. Yes, I thought we did operators last week. So let's
We
move on. Let's move
no,
on. So we have booleans now. So a boolean basically is a two-state data type. What I mean by two-state data type is that it can only assume two values. The two values can only be true or false. You understand? It cannot have any other value. Only true or false. So basically the values that a boolean can assume is a truth value. Is a truth value. When you compare two values together, you get if it is true or false. For example, in mathematics, the relationship between two numbers, A and B, A can be equal to B, A can be greater than B. If any of these two is not true, then obviously A is less than B. You understand? If I have two numbers, X and Y, no matter the value the two numbers are assuming, A is either greater than B, less than B, or equal to B. You understand? So let me say X equal to say 7 and Y equal to 9. If I want to do something like X equal to 9, I'm going to be getting false. Why? Because X is not equal to 9. X is not equal to 9. No, 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 no. That should be X equal to Y rather. So if I should run this, I'll be getting false because X is not equal to Y. You understand? But if I should change this one to 9, for example, and I run this, it will be true. Why? X is actually equal to Y. Sure you get. So
yes,
let me say 10. Run this, it is false. You understand? But if I say X is greater than Y, if I say X greater than Y, this is going to be true. You understand? Why? Because X is 10 and Y is 9. So obviously X is greater than Y. Another thing I can do is X less than Y. This is going to be giving me what? False. Why? Because X is not less than Y. If I should change this one to 2, for example, and I run, it will give me true because X is 2 and Y is what? 9. So obviously 2 is less than 9 now. So it will give me true. So that is one thing you can do with that is how you can generate a boolean basically. That's how you can generate a boolean. So another thing you can do with a boolean is to print a message. You can show a particular output based on the truth value that you generate from a boolean. So in this particular week, we did Python conditionals. So part of what you do with Python conditionals is to carry out some certain events or execute some certain lines of code if a particular condition is true or false. Let me give you an example over here. I can say if x is greater than 9, print x is greater than y. Then I'll now say else print x is not greater than y. I should run this. I'm getting x is not greater than y. Why? X is 2 and y is 9. So obviously x is not greater than y. So it is why it is giving me this x is not greater than y. You understand? If I should reduce y to 2, if I should run this line of code, what will I be getting?
X is not greater than Y.
It is still not greater than y because it is 2 2. Understand? It is still not greater than y because it is 2 and 2. So that is another thing you can do with a boolean. So you can also find the truth value of a boolean. You understand? You can find the truth value of a boolean. So for the following booleans, the truth value is going to be 0. It's going to be false. All these booleans that I want to write down now, that I want to type. You can see all these booleans over here: false, none, zero, an empty string, an empty tuple, an empty list, and an empty dictionary. All of them, it will give you false, 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 false throughout. You understand? This false over here is coming out for this one. If you run bool false, it will give you false. If you run bool none, it will give you false. If you run bool 0, it will give you false. But any other truth value that you want to look for example, bool 12, it will give you true. So far it is not 0, it will give you true. If you want to say the boolean value of halogen, it will give you true. So far it is not an empty string. If it is not 0, it is not none, it is not false, it will give you true. That is how you can find the truth value of a particular function. So that will be all about booleans for now. We just leave it at that for now. So please, any question? If you have any questions, please let's hear it about booleans.
No question, bro.
Sandra, you're welcome. So we move on to operators now. We move on to operators. We're almost done. After operators, we do conditionals. So um operators, markdown operators. So basically, operators are symbols that you can use to generate a value from another value. You understand? Operators are what we are conversant with from our mathematics days. With operators, you can generate another value from a set of values. With operators, you can perform some particular operations. You can carry out algorithms. You can do a lot with operators. So in Python, we have different type of operators. We have the arithmetic operators. We have the relational operators. We have the logical operators. We have the membership operators. We have the equality operators. We have other operators. So for this one, I'm just going to be brushing through all of them because I think I did it extensively in the course. So you can just check it out. So for operators, we're going to be starting with the arithmetic operators. We're going to be starting with the arithmetic operators. Now, arithmetic operators are operators that you perform on numeric data. You understand? Operators that you perform on numeric data is what you refer to as arithmetic operators. Okay, so these operators, just as we have board mass in mathematics, we have paired mass in Python. So you have something like parentheses, exponent, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So this is the you call them the precedence of mathematical operators. So just have you have the same thing BODMAS is doing in mathematics is what this is doing. So I won't go too deep into it. You have parentheses, you have exponents, then you have division, you have multiplication, you have addition, and you have subtraction. That's subtraction. Okay. So now all these arithmetic operators that we have two other operators. Charles, can you see and hear me?
Yes, sir.
Um, okay, I think Abdurrahman is your network. I think Abdurrahman is your network. So parentheses, exponentiation, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. We have two other operators. You understand? Actually, three. So the three other operators we have is somewhere here. You have integer division, you have modular division. Integer division, then you have modular division. Okay, so I'm going to be giving an example of all of them, so we can just move on. These are arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators. So let me. So I've converted everything to a comment. So for this one, this is the sign for exponent. Um, you use this for division. You use the normal this one. For multiplication, you use the normal. For integer division, you use two backslash. For modular division, you use the percentage symbol. For addition, you use the normal addition symbol. And for subtraction, you use the normal subtraction symbol. Okay. So for parentheses, you might be having something like, let me see, result equal to 2 plus, let me say 2 plus 3 times 4. If I should run this one directly now, no, 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 it should be 2 plus 3 times 4 plus 2 plus 3 times 4. Then I'll print result. Okay. If I should run this, I'm having invalid. No, 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 this is it. So I'm having 14, But normally, based on this precedence that I have over here now, this will come before this. 3 times 4 is what? 12. 12 plus 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. So that is the reason why I'm having 14 here. But one thing I can do, if I want to change this result using parentheses, I might transfer control to this particular parenthesis, to this addition operator. If I should run this one now, I'll be getting a different answer entirely because parenthesis comes before every other operator. It will first of all tackle the parenthesis first before tackling anything outside of the parenthesis. So the tomorrow we are going to be doing more these things extensively in the exercises when we are solving them. All these parentheses we are going to be doing a lot with it. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 times 4 is what? 20. So that is how you use parentheses basically. If you want to put in some, just like you're doing your mathematics basically, it's not something very complicated. So that is parentheses for you. For exponent, if if I want to do something like 2 raised to power 3, I can say 2 raised to power 3, which is going to be giving me 8. Understand? Then for division, I can say 10 divided by 2. I'm going to be getting 5.0. Now, you need to pay attention here. 10 divided by 2 is going to be giving me a float. 10 divided by 2 is going to be giving me a float. You understand? So I'm going to be having 5.0, not 5. So when you are running calculations with it, you have to be very careful. So all division operations is going to be giving you a float automatically. So apart from that division now, we are going to be the multiplication 10 times 2 is going to be giving me no, it's going to be giving me 20 directly, just like you have in your normal regular multiplication. So the next one is integer division. Now, before we move on to integer division, I want to explain something. Now, I'm throwing it out as a question. 10 divided by 3, what will be the answer?
What?
10 divided by 3, what will be the response?
5.0.
10
10
divided by
divided
3.
by similar. 3.333.
It should be something around 3.333. But if you want to count
Yes,
it
sir.
the primary school way, you are going to be having 10.
3 on
So 3
3
whole
on
number
number
1 over 3.
1 over
Have
3.
you?
Mm.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
So that would be 3 remainder 1. Have you?
Yes, sir.
That would be 3 remainder 1. So according to
Yes, sir.
Python, integer division is going to be taking 3, that whole number, as the answer. That is integer division for you. Modular division is going to be taking the remainder as the answer. So 10 divided by 3. If it is integer division that you are doing, the answer will be 3. If it is modular division that you are doing, the answer is going to be 1. 3 divided by 1, based on whichever one that you are doing. Do you understand what I said? So that
Yes,
is
sir.
integer and modular division for you. So let's demonstrate it. If I want to say 10 divided by 3, for example, the normal thing that we know, 3.333 on ending 3. So, but if I want to do integer division, you can see it is taking the whole number. But if I want to do modular division, just percentage, you can see that is the modular division. So that is all about integer and modular division. So for the addition and subtraction, it is just the same thing that we have in mathematics. So 13, then subtraction 7. Subtraction 7. So I have to bring something to our notice that division and multiplication, just like regular mathematics, they fall under the same level of precedence. Do you understand? They fall under the same level of precedence. So I think the right way to do it is division and multiplication. So let me bring this multiplication here. Division and multiplication. Both of them fall under the same level of precedence. So you have division, multiplication. So if you see division and multiplication in a particular expression, Python will sort the two of them out, but it will sort the leftmost first before going to the right. So addition and subtraction, the same thing. Addition or subtraction. So addition or subtraction. I don't want this to be very overwhelming now. So just if you don't get it now, it's totally natural. There's nothing unnatural about it. So the more you use these things, the more it will become a part of you. It is not rocket science. You get, it's something everybody learns. I didn't come with it from heaven. It's what I learned here. So you too, you can learn it. If you don't get it now, it's totally fine. So that will be all for arithmetic operators for now. The next one that we are going to, I also have to introduce you to something. We call them as augmented operators. Yes. So augmented operators. You can also call them. Um, I can't remember the other name they call them, but it's just augmented operators. I know they call them. So if I have something like x equal to 3, understand, and I want to increase the value of x by 1, two ways I can do it. I can say x. Let me print x first. Print x. So if I should run this, the value of x is what? 3. So I can now say print, um, I can say x equal to x plus 2. What will be the final value of my x?
5.
It will be 5. Run this. I'm having
Yes,
5.
sir.
Abi? Now,
Yes, sir.
another way to rewrite the whole of this line is to say plus equal to, and I'll get my 5. So basically, it will take the initial value of x, add 2 to it. You understand? Then x we assume that new value. So x initially was 3. At this particular line, x became 5. So this is an augmented operator. Just as we have plus equal to, we also have minus equal to. If you should run this, x is going to be 1. You understand? If you run multiplication equal to, you'll be having 6. You understand? If you run division equal to, I think you should be having 1.5. Yes, you'll be having 1.5. So whichever use case that you encounter that you want to use it, you will know what to use. You know what to use. So now we move on to relational operators. But before we move on, please, I want to hear your questions. If you have any questions, please, I want to hear them. Ty Sandra, praise the Lord. Ha.
Hmm. No question
If you
from
have
me.
any questions, please. Hmm. Sandra, I don't want to talk. So I believe you all understand the arithmetic operators. So we move on to the relational.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Ah, I'm a Ọlọ́run. so so we move on to the relational operators now. Now, these relational operators, you use them to, just like the name sounds, you use them to find the relationship between two people. You understand? No, not two people. I'm thinking astray. You use it to find the relationship between two values. So, two values, 2 and 3, what is the relationship between the two of them? 2 is less than 3, or 2 is less than or equal to 3. Both of them is true because the first one, 2 is less than 3, very correct. Less than or equal to, one of them have to be true. You understand? So all the relational operators that we have in Python, we have greater than, we have greater than equal to, we have less than, we have less than equal to, we have equal to, then we have not equal to. So we call them relational or comparison operators. Yes. comparison operators. Okay, relational or comparison operators. That's what we call them. Relational and comparison operators. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So let's just take examples of all of them so we can proceed. So if I have something like 2 greater than 3, see, I have false. So because obviously 2 is not greater than 3. So if I have 2 less than 3, it will give me true because 2 is less than 3. If I say less than or equal to, it will still give me true. You understand? But greater than or equal to, it will give me false because none of them is true. It is not greater than and it's not equal to. You understand? So if I
Yes,
say
sir.
double equal to, I'm getting false. If I say double equal to, I'm getting false because 2 is not equal to 3. If I say 3 double equal to now, you see I have true. There's something I did upstairs here. If we should scroll up, there's something I did here. I think in the first, you can see this thing I have over here now. Double equal to. I have name equal to allogenius. I also have name underscore equal to allogenius. This is a single quote. This one I enclosed in double quotes. This I enclosed in single quotes. You understand? And as you can see, both of them. Um, so both of them are equal. This is halogenius and this is also halogenius. So moving on. Um, okay, so um, I believe we all understand these relational operators now. The last one, not equal to. So not equal to basically test for inequality. So if I say 10, this will give me true because obviously 10 is not equal to 3. So that is all about relational operators for now. And you can combine two or more relational operators too, but you can combine them using logical operators, which is what we are going to be treating next. But for now, please, any questions on relational and comparison operators?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on. Um, the next type of operator we'll be treating, we call them logical operators. So basically, you use logical operators to combine two or more relational statements or two or more relational operators. Basically, you use them to compare truth values. You understand? We have and we have not. We have or. So all these logical operators. So and and is true only when the two operands are true. So all is going to be true if at least one of the operands is true. Okay. So now, but for this not is a unary operator. Not basically negates the truth value. Okay. So and this for example, if I say 2 is greater than 1 and I think and to be work no, no, no. I think it's small letter and yes. And to be small letter and not shall be all. I think in PHP, I don't know if it works in Python too. Yes. So this and you can also use double ampersand for it. I think for all I use this, but for not can use this over here. Okay. So this is the short and this is the short not and this is the short or. So okay. So moving on, two greater than one ampersand and say three less than 10. I'm going to be getting. Oh, it doesn't work actually. The coloration deceived me. So I guess we have to take it out. I've been writing too much of PHP these days. So if I should run this, I'm getting true because this is true. 2 is greater than 1 and 3 is less than 10. So as you can see, both of the truth values are true. So it will return true. But if I should say double equal to now, where one of them is false, then both of them it will return false. So um both of them will return false. Um and if this one too is false, both of them will return false. 2 is not less than 1 and 3 is not equal to 10. So both of them will return false. So for this or operator over here, oh, at this point now, both of them are false, so it will return false. But if one of them is true, if one of them is true, then both of them is going to be returning true. If one of them is true, don't forget, if one of them is true, both of them are going to be true. So if both of them are true, it will still return true. So for this not operator over here, this not operator over here is used for negation. So it needs only one operand. Not true is going to be what? False. It's basically like not boy equals to girl. Not admitted is not admitted, none. So a test, you either pass or you fail. You understand? Like the GST we write in Unilag, you either pass or you fail. So a truth value that can take only two values. So if I have something like not two greater than one, if I should run this, it's giving me false. Two is actually greater than one, but this is going to return true. And what not true is going to be what? False. So that is all about logical operators, like in its simplest term. So please, any questions about logical operators? Any questions about logical operators?
No question from here, sir.
Okay, I guess we can move on. I guess we can move on. So, um, after logical operators, let's talk about the. I'm going to be treating two other operators, then we leave operators for good. So, we are going to be talking about the membership and the equality operators. The membership operators, the first one, use it to test for membership basically in the simplest term. Use it to test for membership. Now, um, membership operators, you have in and not in. So, so let me say name equal to Charles. So if I want to do something like C in name, I should run this. It's giving me false. Why? Can somebody tell me why it's giving me false?
Because the C in Charles is in uppercase, not in
It's
lowercase.
in uppercase and not in
Uh,
lowercase. You get. So that is just it. The C in Charles is uppercase. You understand? But the one represented by the string is in lowercase. There's no other explanation for it. So that is how you use the membership operator rather. So if I do something like Z in Charles too, I'm going to be getting false. I say L in Charles, I'm going to be getting true rather because there's an L here. You understand? So if I say LES, I'm getting true because there is an LES here. You understand? So basically, you can use it to test if a string is exists inside another string. You can also use it to test if there's an item in a particular collection. You get there are so many things you can do with there are so many things you can do with this. There are so many things you can do with this. So this is just the membership operator. Then we have the not in name. So if I should run this, it's giving me false because LES exists in name. You understand? So if you're telling me not in, then it is false because it actually does exist in it. So if I say Z, for example, it will be giving me true because Z is actually not in Charles. Understand? So that is how the membership operator works. Let's quickly discuss the equality operators. Is and not is. So let's use one illustration that I used here in the beginning. You can see everything that I have over here now. Let me just copy this. Now you see is and not is. Name is allogenous. Name underscore also is allogenous. I don't have to print the two of them anymore. So I'll say is. If I should run this, you can see it's giving me true because this is basically equal to this as well. Both of them are referring to the same data exactly. That is why name is also name underscore. So that's why it's giving me true here. Not is going to be giving me it's not rather it should be it's not. Yes, it should be it's not. So name is not name. It's false because both of them are the same thing. If I should change this one to Charles and I run it, you can see it's giving me true. You get so that is the equality and the membership operators basically. So um any question about operators?
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll move on to the last thing we have to do, which is conditionals. Which is conditionals. So conditionals in Python use it for control structure. You use it to execute some certain, let me say, events, carry out some certain action based on the truth value generated from some set of expression. If this is true or this is not true, do this. If this is not true, do this. You understand? So that is how it works. That is how it works. So Python conditionals, we have three type of conditional statements, if not four. So we have the if statement, we have the if else, we have the if elif, we have the if elif else. So we just give an example of everything, then we call it a day. The stream is almost 2 hours. So I didn't expect it to be this long. So um, conditionals supposed to be a markdown. So conditionals. Now the if statement. I'll try to be as brief as I can. So this if statement now is used to like check if a particular condition is true. You execute something, just one statement like that, and you go away. You are not checking if it is false or if it is not, if it is false or not false. Your own is just check if this is true. If it is true, execute this statement and look away. For example, if I have x equal to 2 and y equal to 3, you can say if x is greater than y, then print x is greater than y. So if I should run this, you can see it is not doing anything. You understand? It is not doing anything. That is the reason why it is not. Rather, x is not greater than y. That's why it's not doing anything. You understand? X is 2,
Yes,
y
sir.
is 3. So if x is greater than y, and in this case now x is not greater than y, so it will not do anything. But if I say if x is less than y, if I make this x like 5 and I run this code now, it will print x is greater than y. You understand? It will print x is greater than y. That is for ordinary if statement. You understand? Ordinary if statement. Just test for one thing and look away. You understand? So now let's talk about the if else. The if else. The if else. Now x equals to 5 and y equal to 3. Now if x is greater than y, print x is greater than y. Then you can bring in an else statement here. Print x is not greater than y. So you can see the syntax of this one. It is slightly different from this one just because of the else clause that is there. So if else statement, x equals to 5, y equal to 3. Now if x is greater than y, print x is greater than y. Else print x is not greater than y. You understand? So if I should run this, I'm getting what? X is greater than y because true, x is actually greater than y. You understand? So if I should make this x something like 2 now, and I run this, x is not greater than y. You get? So that is how you do the if else statement. You understand?
Statement.
Now, we also have the if elif. We're almost done. We also have the if elif statement. We have the if elif statement. So, no, the if elif statement. So if you look at what I have over here now, for this first test that I did a direct text. If x is greater than y, do this. Else, you understand? Any other thing that happens apart from this, you do this. Any other thing. But I might encounter a particular situation where I have to test for one thing, one exact thing, test for another exact thing before bringing in my else clause. You understand? If you look at what happens here now, after executing this one, after executing this first line, it will break out of the whole of this if else. It will not come back to execute this one. So I might have something like x greater than y. You understand? X greater than y. Then I'll now bring out my elif. Instead of else, I will say elif x is equal to y. Print x is equal to y. So if I should run this, you see that my x is 2 and my y is what? 3. You understand? So if I should run this directly, it is saying that x is greater than y. It is not actually doing anything because both conditions are wrong. X is not greater than y, and x is not equal to y. But if I should do something like 3, 3, and I run this, it will give me x is equal to y because actually x is 3 and y is 3. Do you understand? So this is if elif.
Yes, sir.
You can put multiple elif statements there to test for multiple things. There is no else statement here. There's no else statement here. It's just if and elif. You can put as many elifs as needed. So the final one that we are going to be talking about is the if elif else. You understand? The if elif else. Now that if elif else, it is used after you run your if statement, you understand? You now start running all your ellipses. If after going through the if statement and all the ellipses, no condition was found to be true, that is when the else statement kicks in. So you say, let me bring in another. So if x is 3 and y is 3, I will say print x is greater than y, elif x equal to y. Elif, I can now say else. Print x is less than y. In mathematics, like I said the other time, any what do they call it? The relationship between two numbers, one number can be greater than the other number, the number will be equal to the other number, or the number will be less than the other number. If it is a strict comparison that you are doing, it is either greater than, less than, or equal to. So if I have two numbers x and y, I'll first of all test if the number is greater than y. If the number is greater than y, print x is greater than y. After printing x is greater than y, it will break out of the whole of the if statement. But if this is not true, it will come and test for this second elif over here. If this is true, it will print this one. Then after printing this one, it will break out of the whole of them. It will not go ahead to print this one. Then the last one, after testing for these two, you understand? If the if and the elif is found to be wrong, is given false, then it will just automatically execute what is in the else. So let's run this. You can see x is greater than y because x is 3 and y is 2. You understand? If I should say 3 and 3 and I run it, you can see x is equal to y. But if I should say, if I should make this one maybe 7, you can see x is less than y. You understand? X is less than y. So that is how you do conditional statements. Even if you don't grab it now, tomorrow when we are in the stream, when we are doing all those exercises, you will understand it better. You will understand it better. So, any question for now? Any question for now?
No question from here, sir.
Well, no wahala. So, I think that will be the end of today's stream. Oh, God of Nazareth, child of God is hungry. So, well, thank you very much. That will be the end of the
Thank,
session for today. I'll see you in the next stream. Enjoy your week. I'll see you tomorrow when we'll be talking about the exercises for the week. So if you are watching this video later, you can just check the channel. You will see the stream for the next one. So thank you very much. Bye for now.
thank you, sir.
You're welcome, bro.
Th-